Right, here we are at the peak of Mount Sinai. Sun is fully in bloom. It's me and my Sherpa. Better than Ralph Fiennes, better than Moses, better than Jesus. We've done it all today, this morning. It's not even barely 6 o'clock. Up the top of a mountain and still fashionable. Commandments, I mean, they're probably quite good, you know. They're probably alright. They probably make a lot of sense. I'm not sure what they all are, but I dare say that they're all reasonable ideas, you know. They're reasonable guidelines to live a good life. And most of it, I've probably broken most of them. Do you know what I mean? I certainly haven't never killed anyone, but you know, I've contributed to the death of living things, certainly. Yeah, so the 10 Commandments, because I think the 7 deadly sins, they are bang on. The 7 deadly sins are bang on. That is like, that's really good advice, actually, you know, because they're things that we don't even think of as being important, you know. It's like, for prime examples, I won't go through all 7, but prime examples would be lust and gluttony, because they fucking rule me, I tell you. Lust and gluttony have got me in some shit. Well, lust has got me in some shit, and gluttony just makes me like a fat cunt, basically, and just lazy, lethargic, and but we don't realise that the way that we live in Western society under capitalism, we think, well, if you want to be lustful, it's up to you, isn't it? It's all right. And we think, well, if you want to be hungry and gluttonous, eat as much as you like. You know what I'm saying? I'm at a 5-star resort. This is gluttony all over, man. People leaving food on their plates all day long. We did last night, actually. We wasted a lot of food last night. And I'm always just overeating and shit like that. You know, so yeah. Totally not saying I'm any better than anyone, but just saying the facts that the 7 deadly sins, things like lust and gluttony and greed and envy, they're things that we all succumb to a little bit now and again, and they're things that we don't think are that serious, but we're not looking at the bigger picture. We're not looking at how they actually can affect people, and can affect our entire existence, you know, and we should look at that more. You know, so 7 deadly sins, good advice. 10 Commandments, no doubt, excellent advice. But the thing about it is, this kind of sums up the problem with like religion. It's prescriptivism. You know, that if we're gonna like prescribe ways of living to people and say you must be like this, as opposed to guiding people to enlightenment, to realise that actually, you know, going to McDonald's and that, and watching pornography and that, and things like that, which are seemingly, you know, victimless acts, perhaps are not so victimless as we think, you know. And we're just we live in a society that like totally supports do whatever the fuck you want. It's neoliberalism, I suppose it's called, isn't it? And it's gone a bit too far now. Even now I'm looking at this girl's ass, I just can't control myself. Yeah, fuck, what was I saying? See, I see an ass and it's gone. Enlightenment out the window, darkness comes, you know. And I've said in my very first couple of videos about good and evil, and it's like, I think in a way all kinds of pleasure are a path towards evil. And this is why very religious people abstain from so many things. And to me, I've always been like, why should you have to do that? Why should you have to live your life? But it's not bad. It's not a bad idea, actually. But again, the reason so many people, including myself, would say fuck all that is because it's been prescribed to us. It's been shoved down our throat. And that's another way, you know, that is a form of control, you know. And we could actually live by morality if we were taught morality properly, but we're not. We're taught a version of morality that creates the illusion that we're always going down the correct and just path. But we're taught that by people who stray very far from that path, who stray farther from that path than I ever have, but they know that they can control us with guilt complexes and laws and things that make us feel like we're either a good guy or a bad guy, and objectively there's no such thing really. Sometimes I guess you can say that's a bad guy 100%, that's a good guy. So I suppose sometimes you can say that, but for the most part it's the yin yang thing, isn't it? Half and half with a little bit of each in the middle. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so prescriptivism, i.e. these are 10 commandments from God and this is what you must do. And this is the biggest problem with Islam. This is the thing that I hate about Islam. And you meet so many Muslims and they just got no fucking, you can't reason with them, a lot of them. They're like, no, Allah decreed this. He told Muhammad, he wrote it down in the book. How the fuck do you know all those years ago what happened and how many times that book has been reprinted since? Rewritten since, I should say. How do you know? You don't know that, so you can't say that that is absolute truth. But as I've made clear, I think that I've got a lot of respect for Islam because I've known a lot of Islamic people, and in terms of compassion and tolerance, they are streets ahead of most atheists, in my opinion. And that's like having met lots of these people, which is the difference between me and a lot of all these fucking EDL UKIP supporters and all those cunts. Like, you don't even know these people, you don't know what you're talking about, you just believe in what the establishment is shoving down your throat. And that brings us nicely back to the point, the establishment shoving things down your throat. We don't need laws and society to tell us what to do. We just need to learn good morality, that's all we need. And my moral fibre has been very questionable in the past and still is quite questionable now in some ways, but we don't need that, we just need to learn from an early age the things that are really important in life, and those things are taking care of ourselves and each other. That's a Springer quote again. I've used that actually in one of the videos I haven't uploaded, coming soon. We need to learn to be better people, and we need to be given the opportunity to be those people ourselves, not under the threat of control, and not on one hand being told, oh, we can't do this, and then on the other hand saying, but just do it a bit because we can make some money out of it, which is totally what is going on in Western civilization all the time. So that is the situation. And to sum it up, to make the most salient point of all of this, what we have allowed to happen is that we have allowed the state to replace God in our lives. And that is the biggest crime of them all. Now, I've said before, I'm not sure entirely what God is, and I don't begrudge anybody for their individual belief regarding that matter, but I don't begrudge anybody their individual belief, and some of those beliefs are strange to me, but whatever, you carry on. Some of my beliefs are obviously quite strange. And we're all entitled to believe what we want to believe and live how we want to live, but if only we could learn how our actions affect others and the magnitude of it all in the bigger picture, the domino effect that we run the risk of instigating every time we do something. So yeah, we've allowed the state to replace God in our lives. That is a terrible thing, which, you know, perhaps we've gone too far to come back on. People like me talking about it probably isn't going to change anything, especially when I don't even have the kind of inner strength to follow my own advice, half of the time anyway. And yeah, so yeah, it's whatever you believe, whatever you think God is, all that shit. And I've said it 100 times. You just need to acknowledge that you are part of something wider, something far, far larger than just you and your little life and what's going on in your life. There's fucking loads more out there, man. It's much, much bigger than you and me and everything else. It is so much bigger and so much more important, and we should respect that. And if we respect that, and if we live in a way that is respectful to that and to others that are affected by that, then we are going to feel the benefits. So that's the point I was trying to make, and I think I actually have made it now. Apart from that, check out a bit of the scenery. You know, it doesn't know if it's coming or going, really, does it? You got a... Alright, I made it. This is about as high as I can get. There's another little bit. I could get on the church roof, I suppose, but I would prefer to live until tomorrow. So this is it. This is as good as it gets today, I think. Well worth the climb. Not my most spiritual mountaineering experience, sadly, but a bit too many people up here for all that, but pretty fucking nice. No complaints. And look at these fantastic views. Quite literally on the peak of Mount Sinai. I might have mentioned that previously. Yo, I'm coming.